Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here on Talk Daily. Hopefully you have a great day wherever you are in the world, and let's get to it. The 2024 Honda Prologue, and this is a car that I think is extremely important if you love Hondas, you care about Hondas, or you're wondering where are we gonna go as far as vehicles and what's the future that is, because things are changing very rapidly as I've been really saying that a lot on my channel. So let me just kind of read you the highlights, a little bit of this article. Before I go any further, credit where credit is due. This article is written by Eric Stafford, and it's from Car and Driver. As always, I have a link to this article and everything else I'll show you in the description below. So what's going on? Why is this an important story? This is just a sketch that Honda released of their 2024 Honda Prologue, an upcoming electric SUV. Honda says the Prologue clean design will include a long wheelbase, short overhang, and capable tires. The Prologue was developed in partnership with GM, which providing Honda with powertrain and battery pack. And this is where I like to go and really discuss this subject. As I said in other videos, car designing, everybody's shifting to electric because electric one, the Japanese were really heavily invested in hydrogen. The Americans were heavily invested in batteries, and I don't know, had the consensus, but I said, okay, batteries it is. So they're making batteries. I'm not saying hydrogen is out of the table, but they're making batteries now, and this is what cars look like now. Doesn't matter what you're buying, it's going to have some power. Basically, going to have a platform like this, batteries on the bottom, electric engine in the front, electric engine in the rear. If you want, obviously, this is for a four-wheel drive. If you want a rear-wheel drive, it would just be electric in the rear. A front-wheel drive would just be electric engine in the front. This current layout is GM in-house design, and that's what Honda is acquiring their knowledge from. They're pretty much, I think they're paying for it. Obviously, there's some kind of deal going on between them. So the platform, they have a name for it. This is the platform. This is also from Car and Driver, and I like because it's a little bit bigger picture. It's a GM will build Honda EV in Mexico and Tennessee. That's what they're going to be making them. Ultium EV platform. There you go. That's the name I was looking for. Ultium. It's just a name. EV platform. And they're basically selling them the rights. Like, here you go. And you can build whatever you want to build on top of it. And it's kind of nice. Again, I always compare it to a Lego. It's very clean. If you ever build RC cars, it's kind of something similar to that. It's very simple. It truly is extremely simple. It's much cleaner. The subject that I have, the issue, not really an issue, but again, this is a way of thinking that it doesn't need to. It's not. I don't think it's still valid for a future car. But when you look at an older car, you think of, okay, longevity, how long I'm gonna keep it, repairing it. There's a huge industry goes along with cars as far as maintaining them, repairing them. Electric cars, on the other hand, I could see maybe doing some brake jobs, changing tires, alignment, and whatnot. But as far as this battery, you're not going to replace this battery. So I don't know what you're going to do with that car after. No one is discussing that term at all. It seems that everybody's in a rush to make the car and have it available, but no one is discussing how long this is going to last. My opinion is the electric cars have no value when the battery is dead, and that's it. They have no value, meaning that if your battery doesn't hold charge anymore, the vehicle has no value. So I don't know. It's not like you're going to swap the engine. You could see gasoline cars, you could swap the engine. This thing, I don't know. So, again, but the battery should last, I don't know, 10 years, a decade, maybe 2. I have no idea. But that is yet to be seen. So, moving along, Honda's going to be making this vehicle. It's because Honda, another thing I also want to tell you about is that Honda's goal is selling 500,000 EV in North America by 2030. That's what I'm partnering with GM, and I want to go only EV fuel cell vehicle by 2040. You know, the production of this SUV, the one we're showing right here, is going to start somewhere in 2026 and 2027. I can't help it but to notice that Honda's kind of a little bit behind when it comes down to the technology, the battery technology, as with most of the Japanese, due to the fact they invested heavily in hydrogen. And I don't know. I hope Honda will sell a lot of these vehicles, but the way it looks, that the consumer is the one going to benefit from this, because we have so many options of electric cars now. You know, we don't have to just to get Tesla. There's a lot of other options out there. How effective this vehicle is going to be, we don't know yet. The drawing is just a sketch drawing. I mean, they compared it to the color illustrated, gives off heavy enemy vibes. I don't know what that just sounds nonsense to me. Looking at it, it's just it's an illustration. It's just going to be an SUV. As I said again, this is it. This is what you're buying, and whatever fits on top of it is just going to be the looks. So this powertrain is what's going to be powering Honda and GM. This is their hope for the next maybe decade. And moving along, hopefully battery technology advances so we have better and better life expectancy from the battery. But the way I look at it right now, I think it's fantastic. I love this idea. It's much cleaner. It's this all-wheel drive is probably extremely intelligent, and it moves away from all the toxic things you deal with a gasoline engine. I don't have any issues with it. So we'll see. Again, this is going to be manufactured in Tennessee, and it's going to be made in Mexico, and it's going to be made by literally GM. So that's amazing. I mean, GM will build Hondas. I just like, where? It's like you're buying a Honda that's made by GM. I'm like, what? So it's just it's a good job for GM. I mean, that shows you that what GM platform is solid. That other companies are saying, okay, you know what? Can you please build it for me? I don't have the technology to make it right now, or don't have the tooling, or don't have the capacity to make it. So good job for GM. And we're yet to see how this car is going to perform, but it's getting to that point where, I mean, I guess the car manufacturer, they could make their own suspension design. I mean, GM is providing the batteries, the engine, the batteries, the electric motor. I don't want to call it the engine, it's the electric motor. As far as the chassis suspension, they didn't mention that. That's not really mentioned here. They're saying they're just going to be borrowing that lithium. I want to say called lithium. Is it Ultium EV platform. So the Koreans have their own kind of a design. Everybody's making that. This is basically what's going to be the undermining of most vehicles. When you buy a car, it's going to be in that format. So we don't know the price yet, but yeah, we are moving. I mean, what, in about a couple more years, you get electric cars are being pushed down a pipeline, and you're going to be in a position where you have to buy. I don't say the word you have to, but it's gonna be what's expected, because gas prices for sure are gonna just keep going up and up and up and up, and you're gonna be forced to a position to get an electric car. I don't know. That's a different subject. It is what it is, but we'll see how this car is gonna look like. I just find this to be a very, very interesting subject, because I know that Subaru has some electric crossover, and I think they mentioned here in an article. You know what? Let's check it out. I did make something relevant close to Subaru. They don't mention it. Solterra. I think the Solterra. That's the one. This one. There you go. That's the one that has electric. And I made a review about this car, and I wasn't. People are like, "Oh, you don't know. No, you're wrong." And I'm like, "Yeah, 200 range is not. You know, it's not for me. 200-mile range. You gotta have more than 200 mile per range. Okay, 220 is no, it doesn't cut it for me. Once you go over like 250, okay, I guess, you know, I want 300. It's just me. But again, 200-mile range. If you live in a small city, it's not a big deal. Anyway, so yeah, Honda's making electric SUVs. Well, GM is making it for Honda, and these batteries, I really I don't know where these batteries are coming from. They're really, I mean, it can be helped, but this is multinational effort by a lot of companies worldwide to take vehicles into electrical. And you know, looking at India, looking at China, they're heavily manufacturing battery, of course, Samsung batteries from Korea. So as of now, I don't think Japan makes a bespoke battery of their own, or a platform they're able to sell outside. So good job for GM. Again, America have been investing heavily in electric, so we'll see if it pays off. I'm very optimistic. I'm, as a guy who's been spending his whole life, fixing cars and working on them and tinkering with them, I tell you what, electric cars they're amazing. I probably appreciate them a lot more than an individual who never worked on a car, just due to the fact that, you're like, oh, wow, I don't have to drain the oil. I don't have to, change the timing belt. I don't have to do a water pump. I don't have to do hoses. So, I mean, it's amazing. Yes, there's some coolant line in here. Yeah, the batteries get hot, and you still have some coolant and stuff and hoses, but it's not to that level of what the vehicle is, and definitely diagnostic of the engine. The only issue, obviously, is running out of juice, but that's anyway. But time will tell how this thing will be reliable. It's just very exciting times, and I can't wait for the next LA Auto Show. I really, last auto show was nothing but batteries, and I think this auto show is also going to be battery galore. So anyway, so this has just been a little update from Honda, just kind of give you an idea that Honda really does not have a platform they could use. Now, I'm not saying that Honda not capable of making it before everyone just gets mad at me. It's not saying Honda is unable to make it. It's just Honda choosing to use the GM Ultium EV for now, because Honda at the end saying that eventually they're gonna make something at some point. It's called the E architecture, and that is coming and down the pipeline somewhere in 2027. But that kind of gives you an idea. The rush, they're rushing like, oh, we need to have it. So they went to GM and say, can I please some loyalties for a couple of years? I want to use that architecture, the Ultium EV platform from GM. So only time will tell how this works out. It's exciting to see. It's going to be a GM car just with a Honda badge, and that's not the first time. I mean, a lot of car companies do that all the time. They have collaboration, so nothing new there. Anyways, as always, let me know what you think. I just find the subject to be extremely interesting, and I'm just really curious to see where we're going, because I feel cars are going to be basically distilled to platform. And that platform is going to be made by one company at some point. With all this competition, we're going to come to a conclusion that, okay, this is the standard battery. Here's the standard. Everything going to be set standard. And you get body on shell and whatever body you want. The chassis might be made different countries in the world, but it will be the same chassis. That is just what I see the future is becoming. It's not good or bad. I just think this is where we're heading. So I also want to do some more research. I really want to know what kind of batteries I have in that. I think that is some Samsung batteries, if not mistaken. But we will see. As always, thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a great day wherever you are out there. And as always, I really appreciate everybody who likes and subscribes. It really makes a huge difference. And as always, drive safe, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.